In a zesty U.S. prison,
His eyes? They're practically shouting murder because his heart's holding a grudge the size of a sumo wrestler. Imagine this. A half year ago, Jason's life was all sunshine and rainbows. His wife? As lovely as a puppy in a tutu, and they were daydreaming about their baby's epic future. But kaboom! Out of thin air, these masked hooligans crashed the party. Jason's spidey sense tingled, but it was like the closing credits on action movies too late. His wife was in distress. Those wily crooks used some sort of magic spray and vanished like they'd won the lottery. When Jason finally peeled his eyes open, he had a murder weapon in hand, and wouldn't you know it, the cops were having a little tea party right there. Great timing! He got tagged as his wife's downfall and ended up with a sentence that makes a century feel like a short nap. On Christmas night, he got a free ride to a fortress-like prison. It's surrounded by water, and if you're thinking escape, think again. It's like a fortress for the MVPs of mischief. One morning, Jason just wanted a mellow breakfast, but somebody thought, hey, let's throw a hurricane into his cereal. Not only did they disrespect his food, but they took a jab at his wife too. Little did they know, they were poking a sleeping dragon. After the smoke cleared from the brawl, Jason got summoned by Julie, who's basically the captain of the pirate ship. She's got this crazy idea of turning jailbirds into race car kings. Imagine death row inmates drifting like they're auditioning for the Fast and the Furious. If you can master 5 races in a row, freedom's yours. Those races? It's like they're on everyone's TV. Last time, a racer named Frank was the star. He scored 3 wins back-to-back, but in the 4th round, his ride took a nap. Frank won, but he got it banged up and bid adieu. Julie didn't want that info leaking out, so she locked it away like a treasure chest. She needed a superstar to fill Frank's shoes and keep the show rolling. At first, Jason was playing hard to get, but Julie's deal was sweeter than a candy shop at a unicorn parade. All he had to do was ace the 5th race while playing make-believe as Frank, and he'd be free as a bird. After sealing the deal, Jason strutted to the workshop like a peacock in a parade. There he met Fatty, the coach and tech guru. And guess what? The race car was all set. It had an engine with more power than a tornado on roller skates, a whopping 850 horsepower, and just for kicks, it had nitrous boosters and armor tougher than a Viking shield. On top of all that, the car's decked out with smoke and petrol bombs, along with a double-barreled Gatling gun. It's basically a wild roller coaster that drives itself. Now, let me unravel the flying car race, as decoded by the coach. It's sliced into 3 parts. The first 2, you were in a blast, a thun, trying to smack down as many competitors as you can, all while aiming to cross that finish line without becoming a pancake. But the ultimate showdown happens in round 3. That's where the king or queen gets their crown. Jason's got 5 main rivals, the Chinese-American Whirlwind, Green, the lively Jim, Colt, who used to zip around tracks professionally, and Jake, the wild card. And brace yourselves, because Julie, the head honcho, pulls out all the stops. She recruits smoking hot inmates from the women's prison to be the Navigators for the racers. Jason's co-pilot, Keith, isn't just any sidekick. He's bailed Frank out more times than a forgetful superhero. As the race gets ready to rumble, Jason's all business. He ditches his mask like he's on a runway. The starting lights dance, the world's glued with over 45 million pairs of eyes, and Jason floors the pedal, snatching the lead. But don't blink, because the rest of the pack is chasing him like kids after an ice cream truck. The remaining members of the team swiftly dashed away. The group began to charge forward aggressively, leading to Jason swiftly relinquishing his place. Securing the 4th spot, Keith confidently directed a quicker path to pursue, and at the intersection, Jason accelerated to regain the lead. By lap 2, Julie issued the command to activate the sensors, resulting in the initiation of gunfire, deployment of smoke bombs and napalm, as well as the setting off of traps, tossing in gunfire, smoke bombs, napalm, and every trap in the book. Jason, being a newbie, skips activating his weapons and gets a face full of Gatling gunfire from behind. But let's be real. Those guys drive like grandmas on scooters. Green spots Colt, tries to take him down, but Colt's more slippery than a greased pig at a county fair. Green's luck? About as good as a penny in a wishing well. He gets a flat tire, loses control, and becomes a fireworks display thanks to 14K's missile. Green's insults turn into confetti in seconds. Now, it's the final lap. So, he gives Keith the green light to toss a patrol bomb. A flick of the switch sends it soaring high, transforming the car into a mobile pool of fuel. Before Colt can even dial 911, Jason flicks a cigarette lighter, and kaboom! The car becomes a fire-breathing dragon in a flash. After a fierce brawl on the racetrack, Jason snags the top spot a few times. But just when he's daydreaming about victory, he hits the brakes and ends up in 6th place. His car's more whole than metal, and faced with the race's madness, Jason wisely decides it's time for a pit stop. Julie's not one to mess with. She whips out a snapshot of Jason's kid and threatens him, leaving Jason with no choice but to throw in the towel. Later that night, a furious Jason storms into the workshop. He's itching to have a chat with Jim, but guess what? Jim's got the upper hand. Before Jason knows it, he's caught in an unexpected necktie party with Jim swinging a wrench like it's a party favor. But here comes the plot twist. Fatty shows up right on time, delivering a surprise that leaves Jim seeing stars. While Fatty takes one for the team, Jason grabs a steel block and mounts a ferocious counterattack. Them airbouts of Jason's opponent are crucial, as only they can unveil the truth behind his wife's murder. The company's primary endeavor involves furnishing a diverse selection of products and services to the market. But just as things start to sizzle, a prison guard crashes the party and zaps Jason, rescuing Jim. As planned, the second race kicks off, and the racers zoom off the starting line. But Jason keeps his cool, steering into an abandoned workshop. He turns the heat up, threatening to kick Keith out of the car and spill the beans about a massive conspiracy. Surprise? Surprise! Keith's been working undercover for Julie all along, shadowing Jason to ensure he doesn't snag first place and lining Julie's pocket. In return, Julie promises to set Case free. Keith's hands are tied. No more wiggle room. Jason kicks the nitrous into high gear, returning to the track for the race. But this time, he's not gunning for the top spot. Nope, he's got his sights set on Jim, the guy who messed with his wife. Jason switches gears, going pedal to the metal, and they engage in a wild vehicular showdown. Bullets fly until Jason breaks through Jim's defenses and pops a smoke grenade. Jim disappears in a cloud of smoke, crashing hard. But Pyrite High miraculously survives the collision, prompting Jason to slam the brakes and head back to the scene.
Let me see. I know. Next.
Meanwhile, Julie's out to make things even crazier. She pulls a wild card from her sleeve, introducing a colossal killer known as the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought rolled in, packing a serious punch with its heavy firepower, raining a barrage of bullets on the racers. The whole scene turned into a wild mix of flames and explosions. Unbelievably, 2 drivers bit the dust in the midst of this chaos. And get this is their cherry on top of the cake. The Dreadnought had a sneaky trick up its sleeve, its very own ammo refill gadget. Once those tires got punctured, there was no escaping the mayhem. Stuck facing the monstrous cannon, 14K was in a tight spot. They were pushed into high gear, overtaking the car and triggering the trap mechanism. But truth be told, their plan was to take down Jason. They pulled off a crafty move, slapping a bomb onto Jason's racing machine. Later that night, Jason cooked up an audacious scheme and reached out to Jake. As the third race loomed, Julie was hell-bent on keeping Jason from victory. She had her grip on the sensor system, channeling all resources to Jake. Armed to the teeth, Jake unleashed a fiery onslaught on Jason. His barrage managed to breach Jason's defenses. Jason took a bold gamble, ditching his protective shield, but Jake countered fiercely. Rockets rained down like confetti. But guess what? The bullseye wasn't Jason's car. It was the prison wall. Boom! A gap blew open and off they went, breaking out of prison in style. Jason and Jake were playing a long game, tricking Julie all along. She was fuming and set off the explosives. But hang tight. The coach had defused the bomb way before. Jason pulled a surprise move, dropping a spare fuel tank, putting a wrench in the gears of the police cars hot on his tail on the bridge. Despite a helicopter hovering above, Jason took a leap of faith. He shielded Jake and led the helicopter on a merry dance to the pier before making a daring escape under the cover of night. And here's the cherry on top. Keith had already secured his release, so he was in the clear even if nabbed. With Keith's help, Jason and Jake orchestrated a rendezvous. They took off like a shot on a train. Meanwhile, Julie learned her lesson the hard way. Fast forward half a year, and Jason and Jake popped up in Mexico, setting up shop as auto repair wizards. Keith rolled in not long after. And here's the best part. Jason didn't just regain custody of his kids. He also stumbled upon new buddies and even a little romance on the side. The movie ends here.
Thank you for watching, and please subscribe Mango Recap for more video like this and help the channel grow.